to another episode of Leave Me Alone, I'm Busy Farming. Okay, so last week's video was me amending my beds in the large greenhouse. Today's video, as I said in the last video, is me planting out specifically this row here. It's a 40-foot row. What do I have in there? I have a cucumber, lots of tomato plants. I think I have some Swiss chard and some other stuff. Now, since I've planted this bed right here, I've planted the outer one, so it's been amended and planted. Now, what I'm doing, those are all with seedlings. I've been going back because I've planted up the center of each row, and on the outer sides, I've been putting things like carrots, beets, parsnips. Today I'm going to do some spinach. I have some romaine lettuce. I have some bib lettuce. I have a gourmet blend. I have a summer crisp. And I do have some more carrots I'm going to get planting. But that's what I'm going to do today. And that'll be featured in my next video, which I'm going to say is going to be about 4 weeks from now. And we'll show you how things have come along. So the first week of when I plant seedlings, not a whole lot happens, but at the end of that first week, you start to see the growth. And then it's almost exponentially growth. So I think in about 4 weeks would be a good time to update you all. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these out while you all watch today's video. My favorite tomatoes. It's an organic heirloom tomato from my friend Florentina. That's why I call it the Florentina tomato. It's an Italian variety. It reminds me of a brandy wine heirloom. Anyway, welcome back. Leave me alone, I'm busy farming. Today, I'm planting out this 40-foot bed. I'm going to have various tomato plants. They are indeterminate, so they will climb. They'll get over the height of this greenhouse, which is over 10 feet. I'm installing my hook system. I do have my wickets. They'll be installed later, so I can do the lower and lean system. Now, we're going to do tomato plants, maybe a total of 14 to 16. From there, I'm going to do, at the very front end, for my next door neighbor Shirley and Al, I'm growing collard greens. I'll put 4 in there. I'm going to do some kale and Swiss chard, and I might squeeze in 1 or 2 Carmen sweet peppers, or I'll install them on this outer bed where I do have a lower trellis system, and I could vine them up to about 6 feet. So let me get this planted out. We'll come back and we'll have some final thoughts on my fall 2023 crop. And it's inside my Farmer's Friend Gothic Pro greenhouse. All right, there you have it. Last week's video was amending the bed, turning it, flipping it. Today's video is planting it. 4 Florentinas. I did a couple of organic sweetie, and then the rest are determinate. So they'll grow to about this high, and they'll stop. They'll be more bushy. From there, I continued on. I put in a cluster of basil, Genovese basil. Further on up, I have some kale plants, and then at the very front, I have my collard greens. I'll cut back everything in the outer bed. So I have some bell peppers way up front. They're still producing. I'll cut them back. I might try and salvage 2 of the plants, and I'll keep those bell pepper plants along with my Carmen sweet pepper plants. It's an Italian variety. They're green and they turn red. They're delicious roasted. So again, seed to plate mindset. What am I thinking of cooking? That's what I'm going to plant if I've had success. I need to do fennel. Let's see what else. I'm going to do some traditional broccoli. I've got to do beets, parsnips. I still have 1 Birdies raised garden bed that's just in front of the small greenhouse, so it's in between these 2. Anything extra? I have a few neighbors now that they've gotten a gardening bug. They want to eat healthy. They want to grow their own. So I'll gift some of these. So that's it. I mean, listen, I just can't say enough about utilizing the market garden techniques for your home garden. And if you want success like the professional farmers, the folks that are making their living, it's a hard living, but I know it's a rewarding one. I just keep adding to my infrastructure as they would each crop. Every time they make some profit, they reinvest it in their farm. That's the mindset I've taken for my home farm. I continue to invest, to upgrade with the greenhouse, the shade cloth, the trellis systems, the drip irrigation. Oh, by the way, I do need to install my drip irrigation. So I've got to get that back, test it for leaks, and I still have a lot of room for interplanting. So anyway, all right, came back real quick. I got my drip irrigation installed, so you can see 3 beds are done, 1 more to go. I'm testing it right now. Looks like it's working perfectly. All right, now, man, it gets hot out here. You got to stay hydrated. Good old water. All right, I hope you found that video helpful. This is what I'm doing. There's a lot of ways to do this. For me, keeping it simple and applying the market garden techniques. Broad fork. That's going to allow the soil to breathe. We're not tilling. This is a no-till. From there, we're going to add our compost. Again, the compost I like is just organic matter from trees, leaves, twigs, branches. I like it shredded. I don't like a chip. Then organic fertilizer. Again, I like the Never Sink blend. It's available from Seven Springs Farm Supply. You can get what you want. I'm not sponsored. That's what I like. I've used a lot of stuff. From there, as I'm planting, I like to inoculate the hole where I'm planting my seedling and the roots of that seedling. I'm using a seaweed solution, but you could use fish emulsion. I just find it helpful. It eliminates the shock of that plant when you take it out of that cell and plant it. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of a shock. Anyway, there you have it. I'm going to continue to do some direct sowing. It's part of a succession planting. I'm going to do some of that direct sowing in my small greenhouse right here. I also have to, you can't see it, it's out of view, but up in the far front corner of my property, I have, well, that's probably a good 10-foot lengthwise area of sweet potatoes. I'm going to pull the vines out. I'm going to take a pitchfork gently and try and get some sweet potatoes out of that. From there, I have extra compost, so I'm going to rake aside some of that tree mulch and I'm going to put compost, and I'm going to make 2 beds in there. And I'm going to then plant seedlings of cantaloupe and Florida pumpkin. Again, I'm just trying to see if I can get a harvest before we hit our colder weather, the end of December. January, February is usually when we get our hard freeze or close to it, our frost. So that's it. Listen, I hope you all will start growing something. We're coming up the third quarter, if you will, of 2023. Never too late to start. So start growing something. I'm going to leave you as I always do. Leave me alone. I'm busy farming, growing, eating, cooking, everything that's coming out of our market garden here. And yes, we refer to it as the Zaccardi family farm. I share with my family and my neighbors. This past growing season, they got tons of cucumbers, tomatoes. So that's what we do here. All right, I'll see you in about 4 weeks. All right, let's do a quick tour. As usual, sweet potatoes are popping up. By the way, today is September 2nd, 2023. Marigolds, they're doing well. These are Roma tomatoes. I have some extra. They'll probably go to my son or some neighbors. These are the San Marzano. That's Florida pumpkin. Have some basil. More San Marzano, basil, more San Marzano. These are the Rosa Bianca eggplants. This is an existing Rosa Bianca eggplant. I'm going to trim it back, kind of overwinter, if you will. I just took a small one off yesterday. This is a Black Beauty. I'm going to trim that back. Rosa Bianca, there's some extra there, and these are more San Marzano. So as I say, we'll come back in a couple of weeks. I still need to clean up here, and we'll check it out. All right, let's check out the big greenhouse. By the way, welcome. All right, real quick. Happy Rich Broccoli, Broccoli Rob. I got a lot of weeding to do here, so if you want to comment on that, you just leave something in the comments below. All right. I had a determinate tomato extra I threw there. I have broccoli Rob, escarole, and further up front I have a basil plant. Well, let me just walk in here. I've got to step over my extra seedlings. These are the San Marzano. Basil. This is the Happy Rich broccoli. All right, I did cut back my Meyer lemon tree. We'll see how that goes. These are the Sweetie tomatoes. I think I've overplanted tomatoes again. I have cherry tomatoes starting here. So I've got several varieties. Yesterday I planted a row of beets. I did salvage 2 of my Black Beauty eggplants, so we'll see how they do. All right, bear with me as I duck under here. I still need to pot up this fig tree. I'm going to go to a 25-gallon pot like this one, which is doing phenomenal. I am going to grow some cucumbers in these pots. I'm going to try and pick up 4 of the 25-gallon. One will be for my fig tree, and I'll put cucumbers in there. I've got some more of that zucchini, and I have some Florida pumpkins. You can see I've got beets I need to get in the ground. I've got cantaloupe that they're long overdue. This row, I've got collard greens, kale, more tomato plants, basil. You can see all the extra seedlings. This is a quick tour here just to show you what I've planted. I'm trying to save 2 of my bell peppers. These are a Carmen sweet pepper. It's an Italian pepper. I believe I've got some more kale here. Let me hop over. I did label. This is actually broccoli right here. Broccoli, Swiss chard, more escarole. What do we have here? I put another Carmen pepper. These are the determinant tomatoes. Again, extra seedlings. Look at these volunteers. Right there. Those are more zinnias. If you watched Pete's video from Green Dreams TV, we talk about those. That's what we have. Look at all those extra tomatoes, broccoli. All right, there's just a different view. The sun's at my back, and you can see all the seedlings. All my rows are planted. Again, I am doing direct sowing of seeds, and that's for a lot of the root veggies. There's a good look, hopefully, at my hook part of the hook and wicket system. Again, I do have my wickets. They're not ready yet.